Alrighty. We live and live, baby. Now, it's a lot of different events going on in this boxing world. A lot of different things occurring. So I'm just gonna go through topic by topic, one by one, touch on things that people are talking about, things that are getting a little bit of buzz out there. Now I'm gonna start off kind of light. All right. Maybe let's tackle the Errol Spence return. Let's tackle that. I want to start off with that. So on the rumor mill, we're hearing that Errol the Truth Spence is returning. Errol the Truth Spence is returning to the professional boxing sphere against Tim Tszyu. Now, and this has occurred to me, I think Tim Tszyu said that he would be campaigning at 160. So if Errol did return against him, would they be fighting at 54 or 160? We know Errol struggled with 154, and then after losing to Bud, he's had years off. So, excuse me, Errol struggled with making weight at 147. And then after losing to Bud, Errol has had time off. So then the question becomes, are they going to come back and fight at 154 or come back and fight at 160? Because it doesn't matter how much training you do. If you're a man in your mid-30s and you've been years out of the ring, it may be even hard for you to make 154, even though you never competed at 154. So that's an interesting development. Now, I would love to see Errol Spence back in the ring. I think that Errol Spence has been great for boxing. Errol Spence at one time was in a position of a Canelo and a Tank Davis. That's why they were talking about Errol potentially fighting Canelo. Errol was actually supposed to be the one to fight Canelo in Terrence Crawford's place. Errol was supposed to beat Crawford, and then they were going to match him up with Canelo. Bud was so exemplary, he was able to take Errol's spot. He was able to defeat Errol in dominant fashion and then claim Errol's position and end up fighting Canelo. But that was supposed to be Errol's storyline. Beat Bud, fight Canelo. And I think Errol would have enjoyed it because Errol has always been a weight bully at 47. So it would have been ideal for him. Do I think he would have beat Canelo? No. I don't think his style offers enough for him to be able to beat a man that's larger than him in Canelo Alvarez. But I would like to see him return. I would like to see him return against Tim Tszyu. That's a very interesting fight because both fighters on their last fights, they kind of got done dirty. Mr. Incredible was good, my brother.
Yo, you know what? I'm really messing with that pit, bro. It's hard.
Oh yeah, that's from my my last fight. And you know what's crazy? I didn't even like when I uploaded the pro fight to YouTube, my last pro fight, that was the pick that they automatically did. And I was like, oh damn, that thing that thing looked good.
Yeah, it's
So
tough.
I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and this is gonna be my profile pick for YouTube. But
Your boy out there looking like Creed.
nah, I'm the what Kevin Gates say, I'm the real thing. Kevin Gates said, I'm the real thing. Now check me out. First I want to start off with the rumor mill that Errol Spence is returning against um, Tim Tszyu, and I want to ask you your thoughts on that.
Well, I heard that Tim Tszyu moved up to 160.
That's
So I don't,
exactly what I hold up. Sorry to cut you off. Before you came up here, that's exactly what kind of threw me off. I'm like, hold up. Tim Z went to 160, but Errol was struggling with 47, and Errol actually was planning on being the one to fight Canelo. He's supposed to beat Bud and then fight Canelo at super middleweight. So maybe 160 will be even easier for a man who spent years out of the ring. Who knows?
I think so because you're right. He won't be weight drained, but also 160 kind of dry. Like the best
It's
champion at
dry as
160
hell.
is like what Lara, maybe Adames, but like it ain't
Lars
like
is on his last legs. Like the man's what, 42?
Yeah.
The biggest
So
fight at 160 was Chris Eubanks and, and Carter Ben. Oh man, you heard what Pooh Shiesty said. Your daddy a killer, but you just like Bronny James.
yeah.
Chris
Nah, he
Eubanks and Carter Ben, man, the nepo baby boxers.
they just doing it. They doing it for the passion, man.
What
They
passion?
put.
What passion?
I said
What
the
passion?
fashion. They
Oh,
just
the
doing it.
fashion, the fashion. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
for
They just
clicks
doing it
and
because
shit.
it's cool to
They
say
don't
you know
have
how to
to do
box.
it.
It's
They
not
don't
even
have to
about
do it.
having to do it. You know why it's not about having to do it? A lot of great fighters, all time fighters, were middle class and rich. So, um, my man JJ King 8577 says Ben was jumping for joy over that low win, and I already went over this with Conor Ben. Conor Ben is a 154-pound fighter who can campaign still at 147. He's trying to fight a lightweight in Shakur Stevenson. Why not call out Bakram Murtazaliev? You have the fan base to make Bakram a star. You're the UK fighter. The UK fighters have a fan base whether they're good or not because they love boxing in the UK like they love football and basketball in America. Why not call out Bakram? Why not call out Boots? You and Boots could get a fight on right now instead of Boots having to chase
You
Virgil Ortiz.
know, he do not want them. He do not want them problems. He,
Bro,
if you really that, bro, and you saying like you could go campaign at any weight, bro, anybody can get. He never said anybody can get it.
he
He
did. He
just
said,
said,
I'll fight for anywhere from 147 to 160.
but
But
that
the
doesn't mean
only
I'll fight
names that you hear is
anybody.
like it's Shakur. You might hear Devin. You don't hear about the big hitters. You don't hear about.
Nah, he even said, nah, I don't want Devin too much for me. Devin's boring. Devin's very boring. I can't fight him. I I have to fight somebody else. Give me somebody else
Devin,
like Ryan.
Devin,
He,
Devin
he's
can't
like
sell out.
Ryan. Go
Devin
ahead.
can't sell out a stadium. Devin can't sell out a stadium. I sell out Wembley in two hours. Two
He
hours
know he
tops,
gonna get
mate.
outclassed, bro. He gonna get outclassed.
I could
It's
sell
not
out
even
Wembley in my sleep. Devin can't sell out a stadium.
the way he wanna go the Ryan route and go fight like a Barrios or get a quick little belt. He
Yeah.
basically like Ryan,
You think he would
like
fight Xander Zayas?
yeah, there's no risk in that. Zero.
Mm,
I don't even know how Xander Zayas got a belt, to be
I
honest.
do,
I just
man.
thought
A little light, bright Puerto Rican, man.
he gonna get that. He gonna get that thing took. He gonna get that
Yeah,
thing took, man. I bet you he won't get a real unification. He'll probably get a title defense. They'll pick somebody up off the street and give him a little title defense to give him some legitimacy. But when it comes to unification, I don't think he could beat Fandora. I don't think he could beat
he
Murtazaliev.
can't beat none of the champions at 54, bro. He
No,
can't
they
even
just get
beat the because I don't think Charlo has the belt anymore, right? So he couldn't even beat a Charlo who's trying to get back into the mix. And that's another thing, man. If Errol's at 160, so he probably wouldn't even fight baby Charlo. But that would have been I always wanted to see that fight, a fight between Errol and Charlo. But let's rewind a little bit. Who wins a fight between Errol Spence and Tim Tszyu? Two guys who they got destroyed in their last fight. And let me say this too, because I was saying it before you came up. But Errol Spence was great for boxing. He was in the same position as Tank and Canelo, somebody who's a number one recognizable face in the sport. But he took his popularity and put it all on the line. And yeah, he got destroyed, but that's been happening in boxing for years. Like Manny Pacquiao got sent to the afterlife, and you know, the Lord told him it wasn't time yet. And when he fought Marquez, so he's able to come back, and he's still walking around today. But top level boxers, when they fight other top level boxers, anything can happen. Like literally anything can happen. So I appreciate Earl for not being scared, being a real man and stuff like that. Not being like a finesse two times out here and scared to get hit hard. But yeah. What do you think will happen between Errol and Tim Tszyu at 160?
well. Just judging from just what I know, because Arrow been out for a little minute. If he Arrow's fought at a higher level than Timzu, and has fought better competition. Let's just get that out straight.
Hold up. Now, overall, you're correct, but outside of Terrence Crawford, there's no Bakram Murders Aliyevs on Errol's resume, and I don't think Errol could beat Bakram.
No, he ain't beating no Bakram, but that's a
I think
stylistic.
in his prime, I think he would have fought him, and I think that would have been a war. I think that would have been a legendary fight. I think he would have won by the hairs of his chinny chin. I think he probably could have wore Bakram down in his prime, especially if
that
they were fighting at 154. But right now,
that's like
no.
that's like a stylistic thing though.
Yeah,
Like
stylistically,
where
that fight would have been straight up war.
um Tim Zoo fights going just straight forward, no lateral movement, no backing up. He's flat feet. That's perfect for Arrow.
But
Arrow,
Errol
if
kind of
he
fights
take
the same way though. I think the Errol just fights. I think Errol is more physically gifted than Tim. I think he a little bit more dogged, and I think they actually fight in similar styles. But I think Errol just fights at a he does what Tim does at a higher level.
yeah. If Arrow takes it seriously and actually takes the camp serious, I got Arrow, but not like, by stoppage or anything like that. Probably like majority decision because 2 years to not be taking no tune ups or nothing. I don't give a fuck who you are. You're not
Hey,
gonna be the
watch the
same.
joint too, bro.
Oh, my
Oh, you
bad.
good?
You're not gonna be the same, bro. I don't care who you is, bro. You're not gonna be the same if you take a layoff.
And I'm gonna go on a limb and say this, but so Bud and Errol, what did they fight in 2023? What year was it that Bud and Errol fought? 23.
Yeah, because
So
it's been 2 years.
Tim Zhu, bro, this man fought 3 times in 2025. Fought Bakr Murtazaliev in 2024, and he's fought Murtazaliev and Fundor. I'm looking on BoxRec right now, and he's coming off a win against a dude, Velasquez. So I'm picking Tim Zhu to win just off of activity. Like I don't trust. We don't even know if Errol's really coming back, but I'm picking a guy who's been in the ring. I'm picking a guy who's seen dudes just as dangerous as Errol, and somebody who's more, who's fresher. Like Tim's, you got destroyed, and he did what I believe that you're supposed to do when you get destroyed. He got right back in the ring. Like you're supposed to, brush that off. Devin Haney got destroyed. He brushed it off. Um, my man Rayo Valenzuela got destroyed. He brushed it off. You have to do that. You got to come back. Tommy Hearns got destroyed. He brushed it off. You can't hold on to them losses like that. You got to get back in there, bro. And I will go off on a limb and say Tim Z wins, even though I believe Errol is the bigger talent. But all of that time off, and you're a guy that's known for drinking and stuff like that. I don't think that Errol's body is really going to be up for it. But only time will tell. Hopefully he comes back and he looks great. JJ King said the truth needs dudes that are pressure foot fighters, not these slick technical boxers. But I don't think Errol got any more punch resistance. You could be right, JJ King. Like I don't know. And then his next comment, he says, especially since Tim is an effing warrior and he's the same height. I agree. I ain't gonna put up the comment because of the f bomb, but I agree. So for this new YouTube thing that I'll be doing probably twice or 3 times a month because I'm gonna be mixing YouTube and Patreon. We trying to be as PC as possible and build so that way we have two different forms of media. We got the PC media and then we got the real deal on Patreon. But all right, so let's move on from that topic. It's something that somebody said on Facebook that was interesting, and it made so much sense to me. I want to know your opinion on it. It says Errol Spence lost solely because he was weight drained, right? Everybody saw Bud move up to 168 and beat Canelo convincingly. Even after seeing him dominate Canelo, some of y'all think that Errol would have beaten him at 154. Why do y'all still think that? This is somebody asking this question on Facebook, and I think they made a great point. Like to me, I don't think it had nothing to do with the car crash or the weight drain because the man
No,
jumped up to super middleweight, and
there was a skill gap. The skill gap was way too wide.
yeah, that
There was literally no adjustments he could have made that would have gapped that.
I disagree. I
None.
think there is adjustments he could have made, but like Bud said, it was on Derek James. Um, you already know my take on Derek James with the high guard where he doesn't teach the fighters how to close the high guard. So they're sitting there with like this L guard defense and they're wide open. I think I know what he was trying to do because sometimes Salvador Sanchez will take his lead hand and put it right in front of his face like a shield, but he would do that for a counterpunch. He didn't make that his main defense. His main defense was his feet. You know what I mean? So I think Derek tried to take an aspect of boxing and turn it into a foundation. It's like if somebody takes you know, one move, like one, let's see, a step back in basketball and try to develop their entire game around a step back. Like, no, you need defense, you need to rebound, you need to pass. Like, well, I can hit this step back three. It's like, okay, that's cool, but bro, you need to play full basketball. You have to have a full tool bag. And I think Errol didn't have that, and Derek didn't give him that. But one of the easier instructions that Derek could have gave him, not about stepping around, but moving your head. But I don't. I think that Derek hadn't been training that stuff with him since he was 14. Since he was 14, working with Derek, Derek hadn't been forcing Errol to dip down and to move his head and to, you know, really get be limber and agile and flexible in his defense. Like you should have some wiggle. You should be able to bend at the waist because that's what's going to allow you to get your head out of dodge in those tough situations, especially with a counterpuncher and an offensive fighter like Terrence Crawford. You got to have a lot of head movement.
He is a product of, hey, it works. Let's not refine anything. Let's not do no nuance. I keep winning after winning, so whatever I'm doing is
It works.
working.
Yeah. He said it in the press conference. He said, like, oh, I'm just gonna keep he said, I keep breaking all these men down. They're gonna say, wow, how do you break down another man? And I truly believe that they underestimated Terrence Crawford and they overestimated themselves. Like I think that if you really want to be great at boxing, you have to continue to work on your skills the entire time, from the amateurs to the pros. And the entire time you have to be trying to get better because as the levels go up and you start going up in weight and stuff like that, you get harder and harder challenges, or at least you're supposed to. And you're gonna have to be able to dig in that bag and pull out things that the opponent hasn't seen. You're gonna have to be adaptable. If you can't adapt, you will die.
Especially at the highest level.
And Bud is the highest, the creme de la creme. So listen, they said Canelo has officially confirmed his long-awaited return to the ring, setting a comeback for September 12th or 13th, 2026. I don't know what it is about that date, but Canelo love fighting on that day anyway. Because
Ain't
he's
that
still
Mexican Independence Day or something like
the
that?
12th, maybe that's probably what it is. So
He like fighting in May and he like fighting in September.
September, right? So here's the thing. It says that he had elbow surgery and a loss to Crawford. That's just an excuse because we know that he had the same. He had to get a surgery after the loss to Bivol. Fighters get injured in fights. It is what it is. But that's not the point. I want to touch on this. They says that there's wild speculation over his opponent, and fans are debating about whether David Benavidez or a potential unlikely rematch with Terrence Crawford could be next.
Man, come
Now
on.
that's exactly what I want to ask. Do you think that Canelo, after all this
No.
time, will have the
Mm-mm.
ball, the cojones to get in there with
Even,
David Benavidez? Remember, this is a
even
man that said he wants to rematch Bivol, so I think he's open to going back to light
no,
heavyweight.
no, 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 no. No, 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 no. Even if they offered him $300 million guaranteed, you think he gonna be the same guy getting out that ring after he fight David?
No, I think that David Benavidez. Well, right now Canelo is at the end of his career, like the very end. But he still is a professional. He still has a world of experience. So I believe that Canelo could go out there and showcase fights. For those who don't know, a showcase fight is pretty much a fight where the A side is given an opponent to make him look good to augment all of his gifts. I believe Canelo will could go out there for five more fights, right? And against C-level opponents and look
You
good and
know
make
who I
a
think
nice
it
little
is?
penny. But if he fights David, that will be his last fight. Like David will beat the last little bit of greatness out of him. And this, for example, when Ali and Frazier fought, they both beat the last little bit of athleticism and quick twitch out of each other. Now, David, he's not going to lose a step because he's a young lion. It's not like it's two old lions. And he's way bigger than Canelo. I
He
believe he's
ain't even
better than
30.
Canelo. Yeah, David ain't even 30. If David fights Canelo right now while Canelo's on his last legs, best believe Canelo, that will be his last fight. David will beat the last little bit of greatness. He will squeeze the last little bit of grape juice out of that orange, and Canelo will be
A-
dried up after that.
all that animosity he's been holding
Devo was good.
to Canelo, you don't think he finna try to stop him?
Not only is he gonna try, but it's 99.999% that he would stop Canelo, because people don't understand this. Like, people watch David stop uh Demetrius Andre, not realizing Demetrius Andre is one of those guys where he just didn't play his cards right. But Demetrius Andre could have beaten Canelo, or at least could have outboxed Canelo and gotten robbed like a Lara, because he has such an awkward style. He's a long armed, long limbed dude. You know what I mean? He's a guy who comes to win, comes in shape. Great, great athleticism. Just awkward, and that's why Canelo didn't fight him. Canelo understood, like, listen, this dude is high risk, low reward. What's the point of me fighting him? I don't blame Canelo, but the fact of the matter is, I think David would have did Canelo worse than he did Andre. Andre is a big, tall dude. Canelo's small. You know what I mean? And David's a weight bully with a lot of, especially at 68, he was a weight bully with a lot of skill. At light heavyweight, he's no longer a weight bully, but he's still more skilled than everybody. He still throws more punches than everybody. He can walk through walls. I mean, the man is a juggernaut, a Terminator. Devil says Bud versus Floyd. Who you got? So I'm gonna let you go ahead and answer that.
Um, shit. What? My bad. My
You
bad.
good?
Which version of Floyd are we talking about?
He
And
said
what
which
weight?
which
Which?
version and what weight? While you come up with your answer, Devil, I'm gonna give my answer. I picked Floyd to beat Bud at any weight. At the end of the day, Terrence Crawford had great offense. Floyd had great offense and great defense. That's why Floyd has the best plus minus in boxing history. Floyd has the best IQ. Bud even said himself he would beat everybody, but Floyd would give him trouble because of his brain, his boxing IQ. But I believe Floyd would give him trouble because his conditioning. Floyd's conditioning is better than Bud. I see Bud take breaks multiple times throughout fights in his 30s. Floyd didn't do that until the Andre Berto fight.
That fight would be crazy at 140. I think Canelo's fighting Shiraz Hamza.
Yeah. See, that's what I'm saying. A great showcase fight. We seen that Hamza doesn't really have it when he went up against Ademez. So Canelo could fight like 5 more fights as long as they pick the right opponents. But if it's just Canelo versus whoever, like, I mean, if it's Canelo versus like a real killer like Benavidez or somebody like that, or Ogle Iglesias, they were talking about him fighting Iglesias, and Iglesias is another one of these David Morrell types, another one of these Hispanic, big 168 pounders with crazy power, counter punching and footwork. Like,
Yeah, that's
Canelo
the
can't
one
really
that fought
deal with that.
and Billy. That's the one that
Yeah,
fought yeah.
they can't. He can't really deal with that. JJ King says, "Look though, at one point Canelo could have beat David, like after the Planton Munguia fight. David
No.
has now back foot game. Bivol Mayweather Bud took advantage of Canelo's slow feet. Check this out. Check
No.
this out.
No.
As I agree with Mr. Incredible, there was no point where Canelo could have beat David. Canelo ducked David for over 4 years.
He would have fought him. He would have fought him
Let me
already.
tell you something, bro. David Benavidez is like Salvador Sanchez. I'm not talking about skill for skill. I'm talking about impact. Salvador Sanchez came in the game, right, and after a couple years, like in his youth, like 20 years old, he was able to beat everybody within his weight class and probably like one or two weight classes up. He was just special because of the impact. Now, Salvador had feet that David Benavidez is never going to have, but Benavidez has size that Sanchez would never have and that Canelo would never have. David Benavidez' impact offensively, his preparation, his experience sparring with Triple G as a teenager, just all the different aspects about David Benavidez, he's something truly, truly special. David Benavidez is who y'all think Canelo is. Like, David Benavidez could potentially be an S class fighter. Canelo is an A class all time great. But you got that S class where it's like these dudes they're special even amongst the special, like Bud, Floyd, you know what I mean? Ray
I don't
Robinson, Roberto Duran, like that type of fighter. Canelo is not in the class with none of those guys. I believe David Benavidez is, and I think that if Canelo would have fought David early, it would have been a close fight. David probably would have still won by decision, or David would have got robbed. But anytime around that Caleb Plant, where like when David fought Caleb Plant, Canelo was getting stopped because that's when David really started to come into his own as far as he could beat top name guys and stop him and embarrass him. Even though he
There,
didn't
there,
stop Caleb, because Caleb
there was
was
nobody
without the
at
move.
160. There was nobody at 168 that could beat David. And another thing is, if Canelo felt so like confident about fighting David, he would have just jumped up and fought him and not waited till he got suspended for that white girl.
Or waited until he went to light heavyweight. Canelo knew what was gonna happen, and that's the thing. That's why I was like, a lot of people try to discredit Muhammad Ali. Usyk is trying to fight Deontay Wilder, and Deontay Wilder has nothing left. Deontay Wilder is a shot fighter. Ali was 34 fighting George Foreman in his prime. You know what I mean? Like Ali fought Sonny Liston when Ali didn't even know if he was on that level to get in there with Sonny Liston. He could have just ducked Sonny and waited for Sonny to retire. Sonny was already old. So that's why like a guy like a Muhammad Ali or Floyd Mayweather, these dudes take on real challenges where they don't know what the hell is gonna happen. Canelo could have fought David, but because of the fear of the unknown, imagine getting knocked out. Canelo Alvarez, you're this big star. Errol Spence fought the number one pound for pound fighter in the sport. He didn't have to because he had a larger name, but he didn't duck. So a lot of these guys, they just built different. Like Canelo didn't want to get knocked out in front of everybody. And his fans, they don't see that or they don't want to see that. You know what I mean? Like it says Bud has bad defense. Check the Israel fight. I can't think of a time Floyd couldn't shut down someone's best gifts offense. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like Bud's defense isn't bad. It's just Bud is an offensive fighter like Ray Robinson. You know what I mean? Floyd is somebody who was able to master both. I mean, it's Floyd, it's Salvador Sanchez, it's prime Ray Robinson. Most guys can't master both offense and defense. They tend to be great at one or the other. And then the tiers below that, they're not great at either. They're just really good at one. So I hope Wilder lands a lucky punch on Usyk to KO him. Jay with the trade. Let me explain something. Deontay Wilder is a all time great power puncher. He's kind of like a Ernie Shavers type, you know what I mean, with less skill, and he looks different. Like 6'8", wiry frame and all that. But Deontay Wilder was a guy who never really had strong fundamentals. He's a guy that relied on athleticism, right? But he didn't understand timing, distance, counter punching, stuff like that. Now that his athleticism is gone, and he doesn't understand timing and distance and setting stuff up behind a jab, how is he going to land the power that he has? Because he still has the power, but without timing, how are you going to land? And without accuracy, how are you going to land the power? And you can't just rely off speed and athleticism. Deontay Wilder right now is in the same position as Roy Jones post Antonio Tarver. You understand? So he's not going to be able to KO Usyk. It doesn't matter how powerful he is. He's not going to be able to land that. I think of that Morrell versus Volzdik, but y'all understand he never fought David because of some fear. Yeah, I don't blame him. I mean, listen, you have to, in order to take on those challenges, it has to be something inside of you where, like, like you're a gambler. Like, you like, yeah. And you have to have this, like Errol Spence. One thing that Errol showed me is that Errol is no punk, but Errol does care about what the outside world has to say. There has been other people who got destroyed and they just went back into the ring. Errol got destroyed and he had to take all this time off because he really cared about what these strangers were talking about on social media. It really messed up his confidence. You know what I mean? But in order to really do this and take on big challenges and your life is on the line, you can't care about what people are gonna say because it's gonna mess up your everyday living. You know, your activities of daily life. That's what they say in nursing class. I take your ADLs. I took a nursing class in high school. They call it ADLs. Gonna mess with your activities of daily life, bro. You can't have these strangers changing the way that you feel about yourself. My man said that's why I said I hope.
I
So
think his punching resistance is gone as well.
yeah, his punching resistance is gone, bro. These people this is wishful thinking. Debo says if Wilder knock out Usyk, it's gonna launch a revolution. Yeah, right. Bro, listen, Wilder was a great power puncher. He lost a lot of that now. And now he's just a body out there. Like, he's just a body. He's not somebody that could really compete at the highest level because he doesn't have the timing. He never really developed the fundamentals. It's no offense. Um, this is no offense to Deontay Wilder. It's just what I see. Now, another thing I want to touch on is this Richardson Hitchens controversy. Richardson Hitchens and Devin Haney going back and forth. It said Richardson Hitchens turned down 1.5 million to fight Keyshawn, then 2 million, but then turned around and accepted 700K to fight Jermaine Ortiz. You know what I mean? Devin said, if I'm lying, I'm dying. And then Richardson says, I don't know who told you them numbers or that lie, you goof. I ain't turned down SH, and the offer stopped at 2 million for Keyshawn. We wanted 2.5 to 3 million for that fight. But why you saying everyone else's names in the offer, send the offer for you and see if I decline. So do you think that that is a duck on Richard Hitchens' part?
100%. 100%. You just got the belt. You ain't got no leverage to be like picking and choosing what you want. The champion defends his belt. The champion goes out and gets fights. You don't go to different weight classes and try to fight everybody for money. I mean, you a prize fighter, yeah, get your bread, but bruh, like Devin Haney got nothing to do with you, bruh. Devin Haney ain't even in your
Weight
category,
class.
bro.
He's not in your weight class.
I mean, like even
Oh,
as
skill
far as
wise. Oh
accolades,
yeah, legacy and all
skills,
of that. All of
yeah,
that.
like you supposed to be building your brand up, building your name so that you can get fights like that, or you supposed to be campaigning at your own weight. There's a bunch of people there that you could fight, bruh. You could. He was talking about he could have fought T.O. He could have fought this man and
Yeah,
that
he could have
man.
fought Gary, Antoine, and Russell. They could have put on a show.
Remember, remember,
He
he
could
was
have.
scared. He was like, "I ain't fighting Sabril. I
Yeah,
don't
he
want. I'll
literally
fight
he admitted
anybody,
it
but
so many times on. He admitted like two or three times on camera that he was afraid to fight Sabrina. That's crazy, but you know what? At least he's keeping it a buck because these fans that say, "Oh, none of these boxers are scared of each other. They've been boxing their whole life." Like what, bro? Ali came out and said he was terrified of Sonny Liston. You know what I mean? But he just faced the fear. Nowadays, a lot of these guys don't want to face the fear, like, and that's why one of the reasons why boxing is dying. Like the spirit is leaving it, the soul of the sport is leaving, the gumption, the balls is leaving. Like if you just as scared as the fan is watching you, then what's the point? The fans are supposed to be inspired, knowing that there's men out here that will take risks that they won't take. That's what they're inspired by. Don't damn what they're gonna say on Instagram. They on the first responses that people give nowadays are shock value responses. They're just trying to get attention. Once time goes by and they actually sit back and think about what occurred, most of the time they're respectful. Like, wow, you know what? At least he got in there, blah blah blah. But look, let me tackle this, Richardson Hitchens. To me, yes, this is a duck. Um, why you want 2.5 to 3 million for a Keyshawn fight, and they offered you two. So you say, you know what, we didn't get the 3 million. All right, fine, we'll fight you for two. That's no big deal. I think the problem with Richardson Hitchens is he wants money, as much money as possible, just in case he does get embarrassed or he does lose, and that's a duck. Why would you turn down millions to fight Keyshawn, who was a belt holder at 140, who was a belt holder at 140? He's no longer. Um, no, my fault. He was a belt holder at 35, right? Not 40.
yeah,
But anyway, he was a former champion at 135, right? You're at 140. So he's new to to 140. And he's offering you 2 mil. Probably your biggest paycheck of your career. Just take it. Fight him, whoop his ass, you know what I mean? But you turn that down. You don't chase after Matias. You don't chase after Gary Antoine Russell. You don't chase after T.O. You don't chase after none of the dangerous people in your weight class. And you turn down the fight with Keyshawn, who's coming from a smaller weight class, to fight Jermaine Ortiz for 700K. That's bad business. You're losing money, bro. You're losing money. So let me
losing
address some
out
of
on
these
his
comments.
stock.
It says, "You feel me? This man Benavidez smashed through every wall like how L does, but with faster hands and creativity, effective combos. Not only that, but he has head movement, rated head movement and defense as well." Um, my nickname for Hitchens is Hollywood. Hollywood Hitchens. Yeah, that's that's pretty funny because he's more with the social media than the boxing, in my opinion. How is that a duck? I think I explained that. Um, ain't Turkey giving these people all this money? Actually, no. Turkey only dealing with people who he could trust. Like Floyd Schofield talking about hopefully Turkey can forgive. Like, nah, bro, you back out of every big fight. But Turkey only dealing with people who he know gonna show up and fight, and people who are gonna bring in money. Like he's not just handing out money to anybody. He he did duck Matias though. Yeah, and here's another thing. Here's another thing. You want to fight Devin because Devin doesn't have power. I could see if you was like, I'll fight Matias, and then I'm gonna fight. I'm gonna clean out 140, and then Devin, I'm coming for you. But just to try to skip to Devin to get a payday, and like you think that you could beat him or whatever. Like people think Devin is this weak link because Devin is the least talented out of a lot of the popular guys. But Devin works hard. He has great footwork and great conditioning. And he's fought at a much higher level than Hitchens. I think Hitchens will find something out just like Brian Norman found something out.
I,
But it's like
I got a
if
question
you
for you.
if you're really in this stuff, why would you try to go after the weakest link if you believe Devin is weak? Like Sabril was right there. You could make and Gary Antoine Russell, you have killers, sharks, you know what I mean? Right there, bro. Like killer whales right there in your division, right in your pool. You trying to go to a different pool. It makes no sense to me. Like, but yeah, what's the question?
How much do you think Dalton Smith got paid to go fly all the way over here from England to New York to fight Sabril Matias?
Man, they probably gave Dalton 500K. Like, Sabril don't have a big name. Like,
That's what I'm saying.
if
Like
anything, the only reason why they even wanted Dalton because they know the UK they bring their own audience. So the only reason why people were watching was for Dalton. That's why it's good to fight the UK fighters.
he
UK
still
fighters
hopped
bring
in,
their own audience.
he hopped in that paint though. Yeah, you know what? That boy earned my respect.
Yeah, I told
Ain't
you,
he?
he boxed, bro. He wasn't afraid. And Sabril
He
may be a
almost
PED
got
user.
stopped. He
Yeah,
almost
almost got
got
stopped
stopped, but
multiple times. Multiple times.
that boy got heart. I like
Yeah,
that.
man. And that's half the battle in boxing, bro. So I remember him saying something like, "I don't want to fight him because I don't want to do the rehydration clause." Not only that, it was another video where he just said I'll fight anybody but Matias. It wasn't even about the rehydration. The video that Mr. Incredible sent me, the man just said straight up, "I'll fight anybody but Matias." I was like, "What?" Because I
Even
can even
even if
I can
that's
even
the truth, you
understand
don't.
the weight clause thing a little bit, but that's still a duck. But just straight up saying I fight anybody but Matias, that's crazy, bro. Since Oscar Duarte is tailor made for Hitchens, yeah, he really is. Like Oscar is gonna come forward with that hunchback, and those he's gonna smother his own work. He's not like he's not Ryan Garcia beat Duarte. You know what I mean? We all know Ryan, popular dude, fun dude, lovable guy. Like as far as boxing characters goes, like Ryan keeps boxing alive. You know, a lot of people they like Ryan. You know, he has that Anthony Joshua appeal where they think that he's attractive and stuff. But Ryan is another thing. He's just like Anthony. He's like the Mexican Anthony Joshua. Is like the skill level isn't there for them to beat the top guys. It's just not there. So they're really like somewhere in between C and C plus fighters on their best day. So it's like if Ryan beat Oscar Duarte, then Oscar Duarte is below a C plus level. So he is tailor made for Hitchens. Four champions, no unifications. You know why? The unification, somebody got to lose, bro. Somebody got to win. Somebody got to lose. And when you lose in this social media era, where a lot of people, and I'm doing a video about this, like finesse 2 times. I already said this on my Patreon, but the reason people are so disrespectful to fighters nowadays is because a lot of people they aren't willing to fight. And shout out to Mr. Incredible for starting to spar and stuff. He took my advice, like go spar. You'll learn more about the sport. You'll gain a greater respect for the sport, and you'll understand like, wow, these top level fighters are really great athletes. Like they're really tough and they have great perseverance, speed, reflex. You'll understand what makes them champions. But the average person nowadays, they don't even want to fight, especially the men. The women, they throwing down, which is not really a good thing. But all the baddie shows, a lot of these women are throwing down because they're trying to be like the girls on baddies. But a lot of the men are afraid to get into physical combat with other men because they don't want to look bad. And they haven't fought in years. They've been in these groups and these gangs and been hiding for years. So they can't really go out in that square as a man on their own anymore. That's why you got Finesse 2 times saying that he would rather throw his life away than allow somebody to hit him who hits hard as a grown man. Like, it's crazy.
It takes some getting used to getting punched in the face.
Thank you.
I'll tell you
Thank
that.
you. Bro,
A
it's not even
regular person a
it's
regular
the
person
fear,
wouldn't be
bro.
able to take a punch, bro.
They could take the punch. They're just afraid. Like you have to engage in combat in order to get over that. Like you can't be all scared and timid. The more that you spar, the more that you fight, the more live action you see, the more comfortable you'll be in that environment. To be honest, he has been calling Devin out for a while now. Bro, who cares? Why are you calling out Devin? And Devin fought Loma. You know what I mean? Devin fought Ryan. Devin fought Brian Norman. Devin's been out here fighting, dude. Even Jojo Diaz, Gamboa, like Devin fought real challenges. Like, and now he's at
Linares.
47. Linares, now he's at 147. You're at 140 and you're surrounded by dogs.
Not
Dog
only that,
pit bulls, bro. You
he's
come on,
practically
bro.
6 foot. He's
Yeah,
six
he's
foot
the
with a
biggest guy. He's the biggest out of everybody at 140. He's the tallest, the biggest dude in the
72 inch
darkest.
reach.
Drake said, "Yeah, I'm light skinned, but I'm still a dark." You know what I mean? What did that mean? Everybody knows it's supposed to be a certain heart that come with that dark skin, bro. I don't know what be going on, Richard Hitchens. Like I don't want to see you fight Devin Haney. I want to see you fight Gary Antoine Russell. I want to see you fight Sabril Matias. I want to see you fight Tio. You know what I mean? Like, who are the guys at 140? Hell, fight De Los Santos. De Los Santos jump up to 140, bro. Like,
He ain't fighting no
God,
Delos Santos.
we know what kind of man Hitchens is. Yeah, yeah, it's true. I mean, I agree,
He
bro.
ain't
I
fighting no
agree.
Delos Santos.
Yeah, he gonna
Delos
make up some
Santos, low key, like one of the most dark fighters
in the
in
sport.
boxing.
In the sport, bro. That's why they do this to the Dominicans and the Cubans, like
Too
because they
much
can't speak.
risk.
It's not they can fight and they very schooled and all that, but it's the fact that they can't speak English, so they have very small fan bases like in America. So they don't bring a lot of money. They don't bring their own crowd, so you can afford to duck them, and nobody's gonna call you off for it. That's why I call him Hollywood. After Cambosos, he only want to fight the big fights. Man, he don't want to fight. There's big fights right where he's at. Like, come on, bro. Bro. Sometimes a fight is big after it goes down. It's not like so people will be like, "Oh, dang, we didn't know that fight was gonna be that good." So then they want to see the rematch. It's not all just about
Fact.
because a lot of these dudes they can't sell a fight. They're not Ali, they're not Floyd, they're not witty, they're not funny, nothing. They just get up there and say dumb stuff or just start doing a bunch of cursing and stuff. Like they're not funny, and you can tell they don't really believe in themselves. When you believe in yourself, you'll fight all comers. You'll fight all comers, bro. Speaking of Cambosos will fight all comers. Hitchens won't. Jay with the Trace at 100K. That's what they Jay was the Trace. That's what they paid Dalton, I think.
For real?
I
And this
mean,
man is
bro, a lot of
asking
it,
for 2 million
bro. Listen. A
to
lot of
fight a
these
guy from a
fighters, there's not that much money in boxing right now. You know why? Because a lot of these dudes aren't known by nobody, and they're lying like them. They got fake Instagram followers, like dudes that have millions on Instagram but can't sell a pay per view. That lets you know, okay, them followers are fake. Those aren't real numbers. Feel me? But it says people who complain about rehydration clauses is suspect in boxing to me. I agree. Basically, what you're saying is you're a weight bully. That's it. You're a weight bully. Most of these fighters, bro, especially the ones like Keyshawn is talking about how he was drinking and he was depressed and all that, and that's why he couldn't make weight. The problem is a lot of these dudes get too much too fast. Like they make it to the Olympics or they make it to the Olympic trials. They get signed to these big companies. They fight dudes with losing records, and now they have this undefeated record and they haven't fought nobody. You know what I mean? And then they just make a bunch of Instagram posts hitting the pads and working with famous trainers and being around famous boxers. And they're like, I made it. It's like, no, you haven't made it. You haven't fought anybody, bro. You haven't done a damn thing. But you have at least $1 million in the bank. That's the problem. How the hell are you going to be hungry and you're fed? You're full. These dudes got money like they done something and they haven't done nothing. So what happens is they're eating out, they're not training year round, they're gaining weight, and they're growing because they come into the game 18, you know what I mean, get money in their early 20s, and now they're approaching 30. Your metabolism slows down, but you're eating at these fancy restaurants. You know what I mean? You sleep with these girls and you're not training year round. So they can't make weight. And then they know that they're not good enough to go up in weight a lot of the times. So that's why you got a lot of dudes who complain about the rehydration clauses, bro. No, at least AJ got a gold medal. AJ gold medal looks bad. It doesn't look good. Like, I'm be honest with you. Like some people that gold medal, it look good. But remember, Floyd got a bronze. They robbed Floyd. You know what I mean? Roy Jones got a silver. Like these are top dogs, Hall of Famers. AJ has a gold. That lets you know, like all that goes when it comes to those Olympic medals, bro. It's a case by case basis. You can't just say, "Oh, he won a gold medal." Oh, so and so won a gold medal. Like it's a case by case basis. Like, nah, bro. AJ gold medal doesn't look good actually because he's not a top tier fighter. Like Ali won a gold medal. Joe Frazier won a gold medal. They're worlds better than AJ, and it's no disrespect. AJ's gold medal seems curated, like they were gonna make sure that he got a gold medal. That's
well,
what it seemed like to me
pro career does not reflect the gold medal at all.
at all. And like you can tell, like it's like, how did you get like where did all of the skill go? Where did all the Olympic skill go? Whenever I see AJ fight, all I see is somebody trying to knock somebody out. I don't see fluidness. I don't see a fast, snappy jab. I don't see hit move. I don't see balance, toes, rhythm. I don't see none of that. Facts. Get in a ring with someone that can hit, and you can't hit him. Agree. Soul Negro was good, man.
Um Yeah, AJ's lost like every big fight he's had.
Dude
Every
want to
big
skip
fight.
140 and go straight to Devin on some whole ish. I agree. They said Lard be getting no respect. Lard doesn't get respect because he's Cuban and he doesn't speak English and he fights in such a slick style and punching, low volume style. But we're really and Rigondeaux is another guy. Like these dudes, they fight at such an elite level. They beat guys. They do exactly what Tank Davis does, but they get no credit. Like especially Rigondeaux. Lar, early in his career, he was a mover. But Rigondeaux has been knocking dudes out, barely throwing any punches, doing exactly what Tank is doing, but he gets no credit because they're not tatted up, they're dark, and they can't speak English. But they do exactly what Tank do. Like these guys are just snipers, like sharpshooters. Nobody cares, you know what I mean? But that's the highest level of boxing. That's why if you really want to learn boxing, you got to figure out who are the good guys and watch them and study and see what you can learn. Because the guys that they'll throw in your face, like they'll throw Ryan Garcia in the casual's face, and casuals say Ryan's really good. Or they'll have a guy get a belt like a Rolly Romero, where they say, well, he's been a world champion, knowing damn well the skills aren't there. So you can't study Ryan and Rolly and guys like that. You're really trying to learn because they don't really have a deep bag. You're not gonna learn anything. So you have to figure out who has skill and watch those fighters. It says Hollywood Hitchens only want to fight Devin, Tank, Ryan, T.O., and Conor Ben. Other than that, he pricing himself out. Agreed. Because all these dudes are following the Floyd. They don't understand. Floyd didn't just make money, bro. He fought a lot of fights where he only made 500K or a mil. And then after the taxes, that's 600, 700K. He fought a lot of fights like that when he was pretty boy. It wasn't like he was just breaking the bank. He put in the work. Nobody knows who y'all are because y'all aren't engaging in these fights. Y'all aren't getting it in blood. You're not going to war. Marvin Hagler had to fight many fights before he became a household name. But you can go right now on YouTube and watch all those fights and understand how he did it. He went against guys who could have hurt him, went against guys who, sometimes they robbed him, but they were dangerous fights against real dogs. And that's how he built his name. That's how you show people that you really like that against other dogs. Key, another such dude. Him and Hitchens got great talent and past the eyes has, but they're not honorable dudes. I wouldn't say that they're dishonorable. I think that they're just not as hard as they try to portray. Like Keyshawn is calling out Tank Davis, and it's like, bro, you just duck somebody who's more focused than Tank Davis and De Los Santos. Like you were at the top of the world. You just knocked out some dude. I forgot what his name is, but the guy who came 15 pounds.
Barenchi. Oh no,
No, no,
no,
no. But yeah, before
that
Barinchik. I don't care about Barinchik, but you knocked out the other guy who was 15 pounds heavy.
that
Barinchik
that
was a
guy
was an alley oop. He was an alley oop for you. But
that
the
guy
work,
fought Hitchens. I forgot what his name
yeah, he
was.
fought Hitchens, and Keyshawn made him look like nothing. Hitchens struggled with him because Hitchens refuses to let his hands go because Hitchens wants to go into a fight and take no damage. Like he wants to use his height just to land 2 or 3 punches and then hold you all night. He doesn't want to take any risks. So I believe that Hitchens, like, I think that he's scared to get knocked out. Like it is what it is, bro. I'll tell you a personal story. My promoter was trying to get me to fight, this dude who with all knockouts, right? Because that's all I've been fighting is guys with a bunch of power. I guess he thinks that he's gonna hurt me or whatever or get me hurt. It's like no, I can really box. But here's the thing: he tells me like, oh, this guy he has crazy power, so you don't want to go in there. Wow. I said, no, I'm gonna walk this dude down. He said, well, you can get knocked out. Like, I'm thinking, I just looked at him and laughed. In my mind, I'm thinking that's part of boxing. What the hell you mean you can get knocked out? Of course. If you cross the street, you can get ran over by a car. Like
Facts.
these guys, they're not real. They're not real dogs, bro. They're just not. Like, what do you mean you can get knocked out? That's a part of boxing. If you don't take risks, you're not gonna win. You got to risk it for the biscuit. Here's the thing about Keyshawn. Keyshawn didn't want to make weight up against De Los Santos. I believe he believes De Los Santos was a really dangerous opponent. I think Keyshawn talks a lot of trash, but once you show me who you are, I believe you. Like you had the world in your hands, bro. All you had to do is fight Edwin. At least Shakur ran, but at least he got his ass up in that ring. You know what I mean? Keyshawn trying to come up with all these plots and talking about Bomac told him to come at 140 pounds and this and that. Like, nah, bro. You knew that you was about to get in there with a real lion, and it was y'all was about to fight for that pride. And a
He
lot of these
said,
dudes, they've never done that before. They've never gotten there with another lion. And a lot of them, like they not lions, they felines. Like they really not who they say they are, bro. So Keyshawn, yeah, you're right. He is such dude, bro. What was you saying, Mr. Incredible?
Nah, I was just laughing because you said at least Shakur ran, but at least he got in the ring.
Yeah, at least he got in there. Like Shakur, this is the thing about Shakur, bro. He might run from To, but he gonna do what he got what it take to win. If you get in the ring, you got my respect. A lot of these dudes, they don't want to get in the ring. They know, bro. When I was in the amateurs, and people knew that they had to fight me. I'm a dude who's gonna come to win. A lot of these, they used to be in there with people they way better than dudes who are afraid, guys who just be waiting for the final bell, just be waiting to hear the final bell. I'm not the type of guy. So dudes would be like, "Oh my gosh, I really gotta fight this guy." Like nobody wants to be in a fight. I'm not saying that oh, I was the best. No, that's not even what I'm saying. I'm just saying, just my approach and my heart. A guy doesn't want to have to really fight me because he knows he's going to be hurting for the next couple of days, and I'm willing to be hurting for the next couple of days in order to try to win. That used to be common back in the day. That's not common nowadays. A lot of guys, they'll a lot of guys will make them silent agreements. A silent agreement, is when two guys get in there and they just pity pat and they're like, well, I'm not going to hurt you, you're not going to hurt me. Said people need to go
So,
back to Floyd 50 fights filled with dogs and Hall of Famers. Yeah, they don't, man. Please, they much rather hate on Mayweather because of all the money and success than to actually figure out how he did it.
so Tim Bradley was talking about Tio saying like during the face off interview that he's gonna use some tactics that might seem illegal, but
Oh,
they ain't illegal. And
somebody
Tim,
Tio shouldn't even have said that. He's dumb. You're not supposed to put up if you're gonna do illegal stuff. Like same thing with them dudes who be on the internet, like internet gangsters.
but
Talking
he,
about, I don't do
you
this,
know
I don't
that
do
boy
that.
scared. That boy
If you
scared. That's why he said that.
if you're gonna do illegal things, no. He needs to do illegal things because Shakur is a better fighter than him. But I'm saying, if you're going to do anything illegal, why tell anybody? Everybody knows that. If I'm gonna do something to somebody, I'm not gonna say anything. But
Well, he
that
got
brings me to my next point, though. I'm glad that you mentioned that because I seen something on Facebook, and uh, Gary Russell Jr. He said, and this is why nobody wants to fight the Russells because they understand boxing. The Russells aren't gonna go into a fight. Like this is why Gary Antoine Russell was beating boots in the amateurs and stuff. They're not gonna go into a fight with somebody with more skill than them and then try to outskill the guy. If you're more skilled, and Gary Russell, he lost to Gary Antoine Russell, he lost to Puello, but it was a good fight. Puello was more skilled. Gary Russell didn't try to act like he was more skilled. He just came forward and threw a bunch of punches, and Puello was able to deal with it. But it was still a great fight. So that's what Gary Russell Jr. is telling Tio. He says, according to Russell, Tio can't beat Shakur with single shots. He needs controlled chaos, attacking in 4 and 5 punch bursts that force Stevenson into defense and disrupt his rhythm. Russell said Shakur doesn't want anybody right there. If you throw 5 punches and he throws one, judges notice that. Ding, 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 ding. That's how the Russells were dominant in the amateurs. That's how Gary Antoine Russell, the younger brother, beat Boots. Russell points to Teofimo, who beat Vasily Lomachenko as a blueprint. Close the distance, let the hands go, and don't wait. Ding, 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 ding. Because Loma likes to wait. Shakur likes to wait because they want to do everything perfect and pretty and all. Bro, no, fight, win, win. Sometimes you got to jump in with a shot. It's times Floyd Mayweather jumped in with a shot and got countered and then went back to the corner wobbly leg. You got to take the risk to win at the highest level. If you wait, the judges they're not with that, bro. They're not with that. It says, but the challenge is real. Sustaining that pressure against an elite counterpuncher like Shakur is exhausting and risky. Yeah, you can't get stopped. You can't get knocked out. But that's the only way you're going to beat somebody who's more skilled than you. Look at Roberto Duran, the way he fought Ray Leonard the first fight. Everybody said, well, Ray Leonard fought a dumb fight. Da, da, da. That's true. But in the second fight, you can turn around and say Roberto Duran was out of shape because he let himself balloon up to 200 pounds and they had like two months to get back in shape. Anybody can make excuses. The fact of the matter is, Roberto Duran knew Ray Leonard was a highly skilled fighter, so he took the fight right to him. He took a lot of risks. He got hurt multiple times. They both got hurt multiple times. That's the only way you're going to beat a top tier caliber fighter, or you're going to even have a chance to beat him. You got to take risks. You got to let your hands go. Is Teal going to let his hands go and walk through punches like how Salido did against Loma? Is he going to do that? If he does that, he can win. If he doesn't, it's going to be a boring fight. People are going to complain. Shakur going to win by decision. And then Teal going to say, oh, he ran all night. Don't nobody want to hear that. Cut the ring off.
um Tim Bradley said that he's going when Shakur does the shoulder roll and shit on the inside. Teal's gonna aim for kidney shots when he turns around and shit, and
Yeah,
little
watch
tiny
the
shit
watch
like that.
the you know what I mean? But listen,
Oh my damn, my bad, dog, my bad.
you good. But remember, with this YouTube, we trying to be PC. Kidney shot is perfect, but You got kidney, liver, and Ray Robinson used to throw the kidney shot. When Ryan was turning around for the shoulder roll, Devin was supposed to throw the kidney shot. I did a video on it before they banned my TikTok. But the kidney shot is perfect for the shoulder roll. Perfect because they literally give you that side, and you throw it until the referee says something. There's a fight with Salvador Sanchez and Pat Cowdell, right? And Pat Cowdell, he turns his back. And actually, I don't even think he turned his back. Sanchez just hit him like 6 times in the kidney, maybe more. And the referee warns Sanchez, but by the time you get the warning, the damage is already done. By the time you get the warning, the damage is already done. So it's perfect. But the thing about T.O. is why I say that you're going to do dirty things, you're going to do dirty things. That was just stupid. T.O. talks too much. Like, you can't be, T.O., you cannot be in the streets with T.O., bro, because he's going to want to tell everybody what y'all planning and trying to get the girls and all that. Like, y'all going to be arrested before y'all ever hit the block.
His trainer for this camp is Mike Tyson's old trainer.
Yeah, he had Pacquiao showing him some stuff too.
You gonna need it.
Yep.
That's gonna be a crazy fight.
Yeah, I'm surprised that he didn't back out.
I know the nerves getting to him, bro. I just see it. I see it on him.
And T.O.?
Yeah.
I mean, he's a guy that revealed like he doesn't really believe in himself all the way. This man T.O. said, "Do I still got it?" Top level guys don't talk like that, bro. They just don't.
No, but
He says T.O.
remember,
gonna hit his hands. If T.O.'s gonna hit Shakur's hands, that's smart. But you know what's even smarter? Don't hit Shakur's hands. If I was coaching T.O., I would say, T.O., listen, I want you to move your head and I want you to use a high guard and I want you to bring your elbows in, right? And when he throws a punch, I want you to bring your elbow out a little bit so he can hit your elbow. You want when you dodge a punch and you do it and you go into the shoulder roll, put your elbow out a little bit. You want him to make contact with your elbow with them hands. You know what I mean? Because I've seen guys break their hands punching at somebody's elbow. I've seen it happen. So T.O., I would tell him to position them elbows, use that high guard, keep it in close. Sometimes raise it up a little bit. You want your core to make contact with your elbow while he punching. And that's just a second. That's not even a game plan. That's just something that you have in the back of your mind. You can't build a foundation off of that. The foundation has to be let them hands go. Watch Orlando Salido versus Lomachenko. That's a fight you need to be studying because you're gonna have to get dirty, but you're gonna have to be dirty while punching. You know why? You letting your hands go is gonna make the judges and the referee forget how dirty you're being because they're gonna get caught up watching the fight. It says Russell straight up outworked Rail. No, Rail was too small to be in there with Russell. Like Rail is a good fighter, but he's not. In order to jump up and weight, that's when you really show how great you are. Like Marvin Hagler is great, but Hagler stayed at 160 for a reason because he only fought in that war style. I mean, he could box and everything, but it's certain things that Hagler had physically that allow him to be dominant at 160 that wouldn't have worked for him at super middleweight. Like he was limited, and he was great, but he was limited. The reason he was so great is because of how hard he worked. You know what I mean? And he had skills and switch hitting, but he had a limited style, bro. It says Russell's aggression was elite against Rail. If Rail landed some sweet, Russell went in and got it back times two. Yeah, the Russells let their hands go. JJ King said that's dirty, not gonna lie, but it's smart. That's not dirty. Using your high guard and putting your elbows up, that's not dirty. That's defense. I've seen it. Like I actually participate in this sport, bro. I've seen amateurs, pros, whatever. You could break somebody's hand just with your defense, just having your elbows in the right position. My coach taught us that, and we've used it. We've done it, and we've actually had dudes that we spar with that knew the same thing. We've had it done to us. He can't back out no more. Turkey money. Facts. Back to suing Top Rank. So look, we're gonna touch on one more topic, then I'm gonna get out of here. Because I gave y'all an hour. So the last topic I want to touch on is Jamel Charlo. Jamel says, yeah. Jamel. Jamel says boxing is not a team sport, so the next move is always the best move. I don't know what they fussing about, but I've always heard you doing something right when the other teams start to feud. 154 is the most overlooked division. I'll fix the problem. Send me the contract, Oscar De La Hoya or Eddie. So Charlo is ready for Boots or Victor Ortiz. I'm gonna let y'all know something. I think Charlo, aka, Alcohol Anonymous, I think he could beat Jerome Boost Ennis. I think he could beat Virgil Ortiz. Now, if Boost really want to show he like that, Charlo brings his fans. Charlo got the Texas. Just like Errol, they got Texas. They have Texas. That's Mexicans and blacks that love boxing. Charlo gonna bring in his own fans, bro. And Boost got Philly. If Boost really trying to get it on and cracking at 54, I understand you don't want to fight Bachman. Fine, fight Charlo. Because I think Charlo's experience level, he beats both. Now, Soul Negro says Charlo coming back finally. Facts. This the thing though. Yeah, Charlo coming back. But we just gonna have to that Canelo is always gonna be a black spot on his resume. I never expected him to run like that. But I guess he decided it's better to to live to fight another day or something. He decided a good run is better than a bad stand. I don't know. But what do you think, Mr. Incredible? This is the final point, and everybody in the chat, this is the final point. Who would win between Jamel Charlo and Jerome Boost Ennis? I'm not even really worried about Virgil Ortiz at this point because it's like, I think he's just so limited as a fighter. And Oscar sees that. That's why Oscar wants $1 billion for him to fight Boots. But Charlo is not limited as a fighter. Charlo got a lot of greatness. He not Bud. He not no pound for pound S class all time great. But Charlo work hard. That Iron Man work hard. You know what I mean? He drink and then go to the gym the next day. You know what I'm saying? He's on it. So who you got, Miss Incredible?
You know I don't. You know how I feel about Boots. I don't really think highly of him. He's skilled.
Same,
He
same,
he
same.
has he athletic, but he ain't fight nobody.
He jumped up.
45.
That's why Bud said me and Boots we don't fight the same. We don't got the same heart. Cause Bud jump up and fought. What's old buddy name when he at 54?
Murtazalia.
No, no, no. Bud fought.
Keith Thurman.
No, Bud fought this dude at
Madrimov.
Majimov. Bud fought Majimov at 54, bro. Right off. And a lot of people said don't even think that Boots could beat Majimov. I seen people saying that on Facebook. I don't know. I don't know. But one thing I do know is you don't jump up and fight Usima Lima. You just don't do that. Like that's crazy. My man says, but Charlo not fighting that dude that beat Tim, huh? Well, I mean, high risk, low reward. So I guess Soul Negro, not only is Charlo not fighting Bakram Murtazalia, Charlo paid Bakram Murtazalia step around money for years. Bakram made millions off of Charlo not wanting to fight him. So hey, it is what it
I
is.
wouldn't even say it's low reward. At the end of the day, that's your hardest challenge. You get him out of the way, you get a belt.
No, no,
And
it's low reward. Well, Bakram has the belt now. At first, Charlo had the belt, but it's low reward because nobody's gonna really see that fight. Like even the fight with Charlo and Castano, that was a tough fight, especially the first one. Nobody's seen that fight. So it's like if he fight Boots, it's a tough fight. It's just as tough as Bakram, but at least everybody gonna see it.
but he get experience.
Man, please, everybody looking
Winner,
at it.
bro.
Nobody's looking at it like that. These not
These
you
guys
looking at it
are
how I look at it. Like,
afraid of
nah, bro.
experience, bro.
Bro, you looking at boxing like how I look at it. Like, bro, I need the XP. That's how I look at boxing. Like, I know my promoter be thinking like, who the hell did this dude think he is? He accept every fight I send him. I'm trying to get him knocked out against these power punches. He accept. I'm looking at it like I need the XP. I need the XP because the more experience you get, the better you're gonna be, bro. Like, and I'm taking this stuff with me when I'm retired from boxing. Lord willing, I'm still alive. I'm taking this stuff with me in the next walk of life. Taking all these scars and all of the perseverance and mental fortitude. You know what I mean? I need the XP. A lot of people they don't look at it like that. They don't look at it like this is the only
But
life I get to live. I want to really see what's inside of myself. But they're not looking at it. They're looking at about money, bro. And what people
but
are gonna say
bro,
on Instagram.
but if you like a legitimate fighter, you fight like you if you got your Inoways, you got your Bams, you got your Buds, you ain't taking no tune ups. You fighting
Yeah.
champion after champion after David Benavidez. You
That's how
fighting.
you truly build your name. That's how you truly become a
You
household.
you you're
Charlo
not
had a
getting
chance
no
to become a
better.
household name. Charlo could have been a household name when he fought Canelo, but he ran. Don't nobody want to see that, bro. But the people would rather see you go to war. Charlo could have hurt Canelo. Like that man is powerful. He could fight. He ran. If he would have fought Canelo and got knocked out and he hurt Canelo like once or twice, people been talking. They've been talking about him for ages. You know what they would say? Like, yeah, after that weekend that you were mean, 5 years go by, 10 years go by, the same people that was laughing would say, "Damn, Charlo almost got him though." You know what I'm saying? So like, it's two sides to the coin. Initially, people are gonna be disrespectful, but as time goes by and they sit back and think, they gonna say, "Oh damn, Charlo's putting in work against Canelo. That's one of my favorite fights to go back and watch." Now they can't even say that because all you did was run. That fight had
I
no replay value, bro. That
I
really hurt.
already forgot about Berlanga.
Exactly, exactly, bro. Berlanga is done. He's out of there because everybody's seen that there wasn't no real fight. The Bud and Canelo fight, people will be watching that for ages. When two men get in there and really go at it, people will just they go back and watch the fight, bro. Like, bro, my fight, um, my last pro fight, people who watched it, they didn't just watch it one. They were like, "Yeah, I watched that like 4 times," because it's the back and forth. It's not one man just dominating another man. People will cheer for that, but they don't want to see it again because it's like, okay. Charlo ain't active though, so I don't know if Charlo got active. I got Charlo. I got Charlo because of experience. I'm sorry. I can't pick a man with no experience. I'm sorry. I just can't. Boots don't have no experience fighting nobody high level. None. Tip, tip link, and that's the world. No heart, no risk, only short term gratification. I don't know what tip link is, but I agree with you. A lot of people don't got no heart, no soul, no spirit, no risk, only short term gratification. And a lot of people care too much about what strangers think on the internet. Bro, I posted a video earlier of me hitting a heavy bag, and there was people in the comments. Someone was hating. I just like the comment. You know what I mean? One dude said, I hit the bag like showbiz, bro. I was just like, oh, yeah, I do. Okay, thank you. Thanks for the engagement.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I was like, I do. He said, you're, he said, you're some of your experience, but I'm saying, what's the link for the Cash App? Oh, okay, I'm gonna drop the link for Cash. I appreciate that. I wasn't really asking nobody for Cash Apps, but I'm gonna drop my Cash App right now, and I appreciate it. But let me see. Um, he said showbiz. Yeah, bro. Um, somebody said that I hit the bag like showbiz. I just laughed and I liked it. 'Cause I know that they hating. Somebody else said,
They
"Damn,
just
you
be
fast."
yapping, bro.
I said, "Damn, you fast." Somebody else said, "Damn, you fast as hell." When everybody see me fight or they see me train, that's the first thing that stick out to them. They be like, "So yeah, showbiz, bro." They be like, "Wow, I can't believe you so fast." So that's the Cash App. Detour Music, 2 R's, boom. So and I post that because JJ King said he wants to hit the Cash App. I appreciate that. Anybody else want to hit it, they can. It's not a really. I wasn't really asking for all that. It is what it is. But I appreciate y'all. And y'all have a good night, man. Mr. Incredible, thanks for coming up here rocking with me. I got to do 2 a days for like the next 4 weeks. So the lives will probably just be on Sundays. I don't think I'm be able to slide in no other day. Maybe this Wednesday, if I finish early. So look for Wednesday. But other than that, it'll be Sunday. 'Cause I got to do 2 days for the next 4 weeks, just in case they give me an opponent on February 21st. I don't think I'm gonna get an opponent though, because since I'm at the beginning of my career, they got me fighting other people who are at the beginning of their career, and nobody wants a real fight at the beginning of their career except for me. Locally, I can't say everybody, but locally, these dudes don't want no real fight. But y'all brothers have a good one, man. This was a
All right,
great
bro.
live. Mr. Incredible only messed up 3 times with the cussing.
No, my bad. I'm gonna get better.
You good? You good? No, it wasn't bad. Bro. Like that's not gonna mess up the video. It's They don't want people just dropping, f bombs and all of that stuff. And it was so deep in the video, it's not gonna affect it. But I appreciate everybody coming up. This is a real good live, professional live. And we hit a myriad of topics, and that's what I want to do. Like real, I want to bring real boxing talk to these social media apps, like because nobody be talking about nothing. They be talking about fanboy stuff. Like they don't break down styles. They don't break down what somebody ducks. They don't break down the business of it. They don't break down the training. Nothing. So that's what we bring into YouTube. And I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good night, man. Peace.
All right, bro. Peace.